What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be previewing Port Adelaide's second JLT clash against North Melbourne this Saturday afternoon down at Alberton Oval at 12:45 PM. It's going to be a very interesting game, especially with Jared Pollock and Jasper Pittard returning back to Alberton for the first time since their departure. As you know, I didn't review last week's game due to being a bit under the weather, but trying to incorporate that a bit today and see how we can improve this weekend heading into round one. So let's get straight into this preview of Port Adelaide's second JLT clash. Some of the key points this weekend is the fact that we're purely watching these youngsters that we have in our side. Dersma, Rosie and Butters all had fantastic hit-outs. I thought maybe Dersma and Rosie didn't have as much impact as they would have liked from the weekend, but Butters was absolutely amazing. His spread around the ground was awesome, pun very much intended. And, you know, to see these blokes really lift the teams in certain parts of the game when we were lackluster, a bit of energy due to the heat, and obviously a first hit out, you're always going to hit those pretty uneven scenarios during games where you're a little bit inconsistent, you don't have the right skill set, and you sort of fall off the ball a bit. But last weekend it was definitely a good hit out. I don't think it was very convincing, to say the least, that we're going to be a good side in 2019. I think there was very much a lot of 2018 Port Adelaide there. And I think what we'll be trying to do this weekend is reinforce that a bit more, that this is a new and improved Port Adelaide, refreshed with some new players like Burton and Lysette, who had pretty good hit-outs on the weekend as well. And I think coming into this weekend, with the weather being a little bit better, I think it's like 27, 28 degrees down at Alberton, so that's a lot of more comfortable weather for footy, and I think the boys can showcase it a bit more. How they recover from the heat is another thing that we very much have to keep in mind, whether or not they'll be pretty lackluster, pretty lacking in energy, or by the end of the game they're just absolutely exhausted. I think the heat will take some sort of toll, but I think as well it is a good hit out that we had last weekend, and they've been training in it for quite a while now. Adelaide has been quite hot, so I don't think it'll affect them too much. So one of the key points with North Melbourne as well is they both teams will probably this weekend line up their likeliness side for round one, their best 22. Obviously we had 28 players playing last weekend, and I think this weekend our lineup will change a little bit. As I said in the intro, I'm purely speculating selection, but likes of Broadbent, maybe Kane Farrell, Tobin Cox, these likes of players might come in and have a little bit of a trial this weekend. Even like someone like Billy Frampton, if Paddy Ryder doesn't pull up, these types of guys just getting a go, as well as having a very full strength side this weekend. Well, the best we can. Obviously no Dixon, no Hartlett and no Wines will be playing as well, and even the likes of Joe Atley, Riley Grundy won't be out there as well. And I think we'll be able to test the waters a bit more and see exactly how this pans out, and really structure ourselves and get a good look at how our 22 will line up against Melbourne at the MCG come round one. So a little bit of last weekend and how I exactly felt to the game and what we can improve on ready for this weekend. A lot of fine tuning will need to be done to have a positive weekend this weekend, and to be a lot more positive come round one. I really feel we're probably 65-70% of exactly where we want to be in terms of how we're playing. I know last weekend was a tougher hit out because of the heat, and the Adelaide Crows had a pretty much their strongest side on the park, and I think especially when you've got such a young and different change in the team, those types of players are going to take a little bit longer to settle in, and we will use this excuse for Jack Watts, Motlop and Rockcliffe last year. They're the types of players now I'm going to be watching in particular to see how they gel, and how they have gelled over the pre-season, and really show their best footy on what exactly we brought for them to play at Port Adelaide. And again, Ryan Burton, Lysette will have to, really mix in with the boys a bit more, find that connection, and really, as a team, build chemistry with these younger players as well. And I think the good thing about having these types of players like Dursma, Rosie and Butters, especially Butters, is that the older players feed off that energy. And I think that will really help us build a great chemistry within the group a lot quicker than, say, bringing in Rosie, bringing in Motlop, Rockcliffe and Watts. And speaking of Watts, him playing on the wing and half-back on the weekend, he did some nice things. 17 odd possessions. He was looking really sharp with the footy. Obviously, still learning the role, and I think that especially when he comes to, he's a lot more consistency in that role, he'll start to feel a bit more comfortable, and I think that will really help in his favour. And they're calling it a reboot, so I think that will really help him at least find some type of form and some type of consistency and really enjoy his footy a lot more. Speaking of other roles that have really been mixed up as well, you got Brad Ebert, played pretty well down forward. Justin Westhoff seemed to be playing a bit more of a deeper role down forward. Obviously, with Dursma coming in, he's more of a wingman, a proper wingman now, so Westhoff can sort of float about. Paddy Ryder looks really good down forward, play a predominant forward role. Don't know if he'll play this week with his rolled ankle. I personally would give him just a week off. There's no... just really cautionary with him. There's a risk when he, playing with him this weekend. I think, just keep him off the ground and give someone like a Frampton a go. And I've seen a lot of comments say, well, it's a JLT. Why isn't Frampton playing? Or why isn't so-and-so playing? I think what the club has tried to do is really put their best team on the park they can. Obviously with a mixture of youngsters. Willem Drew's another one. And obviously with the draftees as well. They're trying to build that chemistry with the young group, but also try and build a team that will structure up pretty well come round one. And I think they've got it pretty much spot on with the list. And I think we'll find this weekend that the 22 will almost match who will travel over to Melbourne. So again, it's a JLT game, so there's not a lot to exactly pinpoint exactly what I'm looking for or anything that's going to be sort of interest. Just the new positions, the new roles of players. Travis Boak in the midfield was fantastic last week, even though he had 59% efficiency. So I think the whole team will be looking to really improve the ball movement coming off half-back, especially early on and later in the game. Our movement was brilliant to watch. The second and third quarters didn't really match to that standard, and I think this weekend they'll try and build on playing a four-quarter performance. And look, win or lose, the outcome doesn't really matter as much. I think going into round one, a win would be nice, especially at Alberton, in front of the faithful. It'll be a big day and a lot to look forward to. And JLT2 is sort of a tune-up to round one. So you might see a bit more intensity come into fruition this weekend. And I look forward to it. It's going to be another ripping contest. And these two teams look pretty evenly matched. And I really feel coming into the season, these two teams could be very much fighting for a spot in the 8, if not, even higher. So that wraps up my preview of Port Adelaide versus North Melbourne for the JLT game at Alberton this weekend. Let me know your thoughts for this weekend. What are you looking forward to? Who are you looking forward to seeing? And are you heading to the game? Because Alberton is a pretty special place, and I really angry that I'm missing it this weekend. But nonetheless, it should be a good game of footy. And you know what? It's just getting closer and closer to round one. So thank you very much for watching, Port fans. I really appreciate all the support as of late. And some of the videos numbers are fantastic. Some I never expected on certain ones. So thank you again. And I really look forward to seeing you guys come round one, which I'll be there over in Melbourne. So look forward to having you guys back for 2019. Once again, thanks very much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, cut.